I managed to install the Emerson Sensi touch Wi-Fi thermostat on my home heating system where I didn't have the common wire. So I believe that this workaround will allow the smart thermostat to work on my system, and I'll introduce you to the system that I am going to install the Sensi on. So here's the system that I'm going to install the Sensi Emerson Smart Thermostat on. It's about, I don't know, maybe 9 or 10 years old. It's a standalone heat system. I do not have AC connected at all. It's just heating, and it's a simple 2-zone system. And as you can see down here at the boiler side of the thermostat, there's a whole nest of wires. We could figure that out. That's not a problem. One thing that I did not find is a circuit board or any type of connector that would indicate that there was a C wire. So I do not believe that this system has one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go upstairs to my zone that I'm going to actually install this thermostat, pull that thermostat open and see what's going on in terms of wiring and what I need to do to get this thermostat up and running. So as I mentioned, my system has 2-zone heat. Both zones are controlled by a programmable thermostat that you see here, a Lux. This is the upstairs that's going to be replaced, and I'm just going to leave the downstairs Lux thermostat for now. Now, another thing that I'm going to do here is I don't like where this thermostat is placed. It's right in the living room and over a curio shelf. And when my wife puts up things there, you can't see the thermostat. And also at night, it's kind of dark to see that readout. So what I'm going to do is relocate the thermostat to a wall about maybe 2 feet, 3 feet to our right, and that'll be easier for access for the thermostat. Plus, it'll look cool on a wall over there. So I'm going to take this thermostat off and see what we have in terms of wiring, see if we have enough conductors and we have what we need to get this thermostat, the new smart thermostat, up and running. So I've taken off the thermostat, the programmable thermostat, the Lux thermostat, in the living room here. And when I look at the wiring, I see that I only have a 2-wire system here. I have a red wire, which is connected to the RH, and I also have a white wire, which is connected to the W terminal. And I also can see that the RH and the RC terminals are jumpered in the thermostat. So the red and white wires basically are just a circuit, a switch circuit. So what I don't see here is the wires necessary to bring voltage to 24 volts AC that the Sensi needs to turn on and power itself. Before I do anything with the wiring, even though it is low voltage, I do not want to have my boiler company come on out and do an emergency service for me. So what I'm going to do is just be safe, and I'm going to turn off the power with the emergency off switch here while we do the work. Now this is the back of the programmable thermostat that I am replacing, the Lux thermostat. And from what I gather, these programmable thermostats, it really didn't matter, for my system anyway, it didn't matter as long as I had 2 wires to turn that heating zone on and off. It's good to go. And you can see that this Lux thermostat is powered by 2 AA batteries. And my guess is that that is the power source that's keeping the display, the LCD display working. It's keeping my programming settings and what have you. So the issue with So with these new smart thermostats, you need to have more voltage going to them. You need to have more power going to them. In this case, the Sensi needs 24 volts AC all of the time so that it could run the big display, the LCD display, so that it could run the Wi-Fi circuitry, and it can also store the programming. So it needs more power. And we need to somehow bring up 24 volts AC to the thermostat to keep that thermostat running all of the time. So as I mentioned, my Lux programmable thermostat only had two wires running to it. It was a red wire and a white wire. There were no other conductors. At the minimum, you need 4 wires in a new wire coming up from your furnace to the location where you're going to install your Sensi. So what I did actually last night was I ran a new wire, a new thermostat wire. It's actually a 5 conductor. There's a red wire, white wire, green, blue, and yellow. So I'm going to stick with the red wire and the white wire to match that color coding convention from the old thermostat. And then I'm just going to use the blue wire as my good old common wire, and I'm going to use the yellow wire. And the blue and the yellow wires, in my case, they're going to basically act as the plus and negative, if you will, of that 24 volts AC to run this thermostat, to power the thermostat, the display, the Wi-Fi, and all of that good stuff. So I've only run the wire through the wall. The furnace is actually right below us, so it was a pretty easy run to drill up through the wall and run this wire. What I'm going to do is I'm going on this side to terminate the wires and connect them to where they need to go. And I will then come back and show you how I did that. A nice little feature with the Sensi, I mean, it's pretty bright here in the hallway, but there is a switch here. And when you turn the switch up, I don't know if you could tell it in the video, but the backlight that's built in, the little LED lights come on. I guess if you're working in a dark area, turning that light on is a really nice little feature so that you could see your wiring, and it gives you a little bit of light there. But I don't need that today. Just wanted to point that out. I'm going to turn it off, and I'll be right back after I make my connections. Okay, so I terminated my wiring on the thermostat side using that new cable that I ran to the Sensi wall plate. So what I did was I terminated the white wire to the W terminal, as you see here. And the RH is for the red heating. I do not have cooling, it's only heating. So I terminated the red wire to the RH. Now, over here, there's, you see this RH, RC. I tried pulling that out a little bit, and I saw that there was some resistance, so I got a diagonal cutters there, and I cut that jumper because we do not want that jumper to be connected. So you have to cut that jumper. I didn't see how it came out, so my assumption is that you had to cut that. The reason why is we want to isolate the RH and the RC terminals. So in my setting here, I took my blue wire, which is going to be one leg of my 24 volt AC that I need to power my thermostat, and I terminated that to the C port that you see on the thermostat base. And then I took that yellow wire, and that's going to be the other leg of my 24 volt AC that's powering the thermostat, and I terminated that to the RC. So I'm using the W, the C, the RC, and the RH, and I remember you have to cut that terminal. Now I'm going to go downstairs and see what I need to do to connect that side of the wire up. What I did was I made my 2 connections to the new thermostat wire that I ran downstairs here. And as I said, I did a like for like, replacing the red and white wires from the original thermostat wire. And here that is here. That's now disconnected. And what I did was, this was the yellow wire. that the original red wire from the Lux thermostat was connected to. So I just disconnected the old red wire up there and connected the new red wire to the new thermostat wire here. Okay, so that's one part of the thermostat switching that needs to happen from the Sensi. And what I also did was I disconnected the white wire from the old Lux, which was connected to this this connection here. This guy, you can see all of the common wires, or the white wires, I guess, are connected there. So again, I just did a like for like. I disconnected the white wire from this wire nut here, and I connected my new wire. Now, that leaves me with the two wires that I was missing initially, and that's why I had to run that brand new thermostat wire up there. These are the two wires that will provide that 24-volt AC up to my Sensi thermostat. So, as I mentioned, I had purchased the AC transformer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the wire there, and I am going to make my connections and show you how I did that when I'm done. Okay, so I made my connections for my 24-volt AC external transformer here. What I did might be a little overkill, but I had a spare piece of non-metallic conduit, electrical conduit, so I just ran that down the wall so that I could run this very thin wire through that. It looks more professional. It's protecting the wire, and now I have purpose for that piece of conduit that was just laying around my garage. So what I did was, as we come on over, I ran the wire up along the ceiling. I used the clips that came with the transformer, and now what I did was I terminated the two transformer wires, the two black wires here. I terminated them to the blue wire, which is the common wire running up to the thermostat, and the yellow wire. So when I plug in that thermostat, 24 volts AC will now go through these two conductors and feed up through the wire to the Sensi smart thermostat, and that will give the thermostat that 24 volts AC constant that it needs to run the programming, run the Wi-Fi, and power that LCD display. And again, I know that this is not a picture-perfect install. I'm basically just tagging on to what professional installers did here when they put this system in. I might do something a little later to tie wrap or straighten this up a little bit, but I don't want to go too crazy here. Another thing that I did, I don't know if you have the time to do this or if it's necessary, but I did put the, I don't know if you can see the numbers. I did number all of these wires, and I drew a diagram for myself just in case any of these wires came loose. They popped out of a connector. I even took a picture, but it's a rat's maze, so I was pretty confident coming down here that if I mess anything up, that I have a diagram that I made, I took a picture, and if anything happens, I can go back to the Lux and I could check my connections if things don't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on over and I'm going to take my power supply, I'm going to plug it in. Now the furnace is still off and the thermostat is not plugged in yet to the wall. So we're going to go upstairs and we're going to do that now. Okay, so here's the Sensi thermostat. Now one thing that I have not done yet is I have not turned the furnace on yet with that emergency off switch. That is still off. So that 24-volt transformer is what's driving this guy to work right now. I'm going to go to my switch, turn my switch on. You can see that the heat, there we go, we can see that the heat is set to 73. It's currently 61. I do hear the furnace turning on down there, so that's really great. So it seems that my Sensi's working. So now all I need to do is set up a programming schedule for it, and the big reason why I purchased this model is because it is Alexa enabled. So I'm going to have to make sure that Alexa is going to work with this as well. So that's how I've gotten around installing a smart thermostat on a system that only has a 2-wire thermostat. And hopefully this works for you, and good luck with your install. Bye.